Good evening. Local cities in DuBois County gathered to discuss US 231. A Jasper man is arrested on a trio of charges. Police investigate a home break-in. Kimball is recognized as a great place to work, and the Sisters of St. Benedict celebrate 50 years. These stories, sports, and weather are coming up in the 18 WJTS News. This is the WJTS News. I'm Charlotte Olson, in for Bradford Rass. Officials from the cities of Jasper, Huntingburg, and DuBois County gathered Tuesday afternoon in the Pfaffenweiler Room at the Jasper City Hall for a meeting with District 63 Indiana State Representative Mike Braun of Jasper. They discussed the possibility of a bypass road for US Highway 231 here in DuBois County. About 50 people consisting of the members of the Jasper and Huntingburg City Councils, members of the DuBois County Commissioners, the DuBois County Council, and business leaders and the general public were all on hand to listen to Braun's stance on the idea and offer comments and questions. Back in the early 2000s, the Indiana Department of Transportation had plans to create a US 231 that would bypass the cities and towns through which the current US 231 runs. The Spencer County portion was finished, and the plan for INDOT to continue north into DuBois County. Those plans were eventually scrapped by INDOT. Braun said the purpose of the Tuesday's meeting was to see if DuBois County, as a community, wants to actually have something like this in the area, and to see if the accomplishment with the roadways would be potential construction and its potential benefits. If so, now's the time to take the initiative, Braun said.
We now officially, after this discussion, that county government especially looks at this because it goes entirely through the county, outside the city limits. The city, Huntingburg and Jasper both benefit because we all complain about the congestion and the quality of the road. So to me, that was a huge windfall that we have repair control if this would ever happen on Business 231. So I think it's a win-win. The cost of it, the magnitude to which we decide to build the road, those are all issues we work out.
For nearly 5 years now, the Mid-State Coordinator Coalition, a local group of businesses and community leaders and residents, has been pushing for the creation of a 37-mile bypass through the county. This bypass would connect the improved portion of the US 231 at the southern edge of the county to I-69 in Washington. Braun, who is a member of the group, says the idea of a possible US 231 bypass around the Huntingburg and Jasper communities is more of a local issue that also has regional and long-term implications. Braun says he feels confident that the coalition would throw their support behind the 231 bypass. Meanwhile, Braun says a bypass around Jasper and Huntingburg would benefit those communities in a number of ways, especially from a traffic standpoint.
The folks that are clogging up traffic are not stopping. Anybody in a semi, where would they stop in Huntingburg or Jasper unless it was out at maybe to get fuel? And most of them aren't doing that. So there would be minor impact compared to the major advantages you'd get of actually being a place on the map that looks like a good place to start a new business.
Braun says he will do his part and continue to fight for the US 231 bypass to become a reality, but he says at this time it's up to local city and county government officials. He says he will continue to discuss the idea with those groups in the future at public meetings and hopes they'll pick up the gauntlet and run with it. A domestic confrontation at a Jasper apartment complex late Tuesday afternoon eventually ended with a Jasper man's arrest on multiple charges. Just after 5:30 yesterday, Jasper police officers were called to a unit at Village Court Apartments where a verbal dispute was reported to be in progress. Police were also told that 31-year-old Nathan Phillips, who lived at the apartment, was throwing property that belonged to her off the apartment's balcony towards her in an attempt to hit her. Police say once on the scene, both parties were enraged and continued to fight. They say Phillips continued to be uncooperative with the accuser as well as responding officers. He continued throwing large items off the balcony. Officers went up to the apartment in an attempt to calm Phillips, but they say he became even more aggressive. They say a short struggle ensued, and ultimately Phillips was taken into custody. Police slapped Phillips with a trio of charges, including disorderly conduct for the continued behavior, criminal mischief for the damage of the complainant's belongings, and resisting the law enforcement for struggling with officers. He was taken to and lodged into the Du Bois County Security Center. Officers with the Jasper Police Department are looking into a residential break-in they say took place at a home in the 900 block of Geisler Road. It happened on the city's southeast side sometime during the overnight hours of Monday night or Tuesday morning. Police say a crossbow and an undetermined amount of money was taken from the garage of the residence. Now, the community's strike force against violence is offering a $1,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons involved with the incident. Anyone with any information is asked to contact the Jasper Police Department at 812-482-2255 or leave a message on the department's anonymous tip line at 812-481-COPS. Jasper Police want to remind citizens to always keep residential and vehicle doors locked, especially during the overnight hours. Local unemployment numbers for the month of June have been released, and once again, Du Bois County leads the way. However, they will have to share that top spot. The county's June rates came in at 3.5% after experiencing an increase of 0.3% from the previous month of May. In fact, June marked the second straight month that the county's jobless rate increased by a 0.3% margin. Du Bois is now once again tied with Indianapolis suburb Hamilton County. Statewide Indiana's unemployment rate dropped below 5% for the first time since the national recession began in 2008. Figures released yesterday by the State Department of Workforce Development show Indiana's jobless market fell to 4.8% for June. That is down 0.2 percentage point from the May's rate. The last time Indiana had an unemployment rate below 5% was in February of 2008. Indiana's unemployment level peaked from the recession at a 10.9% in early 2010. Indiana is slightly below the national jobless rate of 5.3%, and federal figures show about 158,000 people were looking for jobs in Indiana last month. Now, locally, Du Bois County is tied with Hamilton County for the state's lowest unemployment rate at 3.5%. Daviess County's rate last month came in at 3.9%, up 0.2%. Martin and Spencer County are both right behind at an even 4%. Perry County saw the largest jump in locally with 7/10 up to 5.2%. Crawford dropped 0.3 to 5.3%, and Orange County's June unemployment rate fell 0.1 to 5.9%. Vermilion County once again led the Hoosier State with the highest unemployment rate of 6.6%. Jasper-based Kimball International has been named a great place to work after the work review of the company's workplace culture. The review focused on 5 key areas: credibility, respect, fairness, pride, and camaraderie. As a result of the review, the company has been recognized with the Great Place to Work distinction. In a news release, Kimball CEO and board chairman Bob Schneider says the daily living of guiding principles by all of their employees that makes this type of designation happen. Kimball International was part of a review that was based on 1,125 employee surveys with a 95% confidence level and a margin of error of over +2. Schneider says Kimball is very proud to display the Great Place to Work badge and are committed to continuous improvement by acting upon employee feedback and making this part of the process. 4 Sisters of the St. Benedict of Ferdinand will celebrate the 50th anniversary of their profession of monastic vows on August 22nd at the Monastery of Immaculate Conception in Ferdinand. The Jubilee Mass will be held at 1 p.m. Eastern in the monastery church. Bishop Charles C. Thompson of the Diocese of Evansville will proceed at the Mass. A reception for family and friends will follow in St. Gertrude Hall at the monastery. The Jubileans, sisters Aline Reckelhoff, Jane Becker, Angie Winesapple, and Donna Marie Hare, each professed their monastic vows in 1965. They entered the Ferdinand Monastery in 1963. Sister Elaine from Ferdinand served as an elementary teacher at Resurrection School and as a French teacher at Memorial High School, both in Evansville. Currently, Sister Elaine serves as the coordinator of pastoral care for Hildegard Health Center at the monastery. Sister Jane, a native of Evansville, taught at St. Meinrad College and was director of the counseling services at St. Meinrad School of Theology. She currently serves as subpyrus. Sister Angie from St. Philip served as an elementary teacher at Holy Redeemer and St. Joseph Schools in Evansville, Pine Ridge and Birdseye, Mount Vernon, Rockport, and Schnellville, where she also taught religious education. She has been a CNA and Director of Activities in the monastery's Hildegard Health Center and is currently a CNA in the Sisters Community Health Office. And Sister Donna Marie from Chandler was a religion and social studies teacher at Mater Dei High School in Evansville and an administrative assistant in the retreat ministry at Cord Center in Ferdinand. For the past 7 years, she has served and continues to serve as manager of the St. Vincent de Paul Pantry and Office of Emergency Assistance in Evansville. Founded in 1867, the Sisters of St. Benedict of Ferdinand currently number 150 and serve in areas of education, parish work, healthcare, retreat, social services, counseling, and mission work in Indiana, Kentucky, and Peru. Coming up, we'll have your weather, sports, and Inform with Jan Dugan talking about herbs on Inform on WJTS News.